What's up? Tonight on the Insomnia live stream, I'm your host, Honest Adonis. We're going to watch 6 most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera by chilling scares, but then also we're going to watch Detective Meyer's stories. This says detectives have never seen such brutality. But I want to start with my guy over here. We'll start with this guy and we'll see what's going on. But before we do any of that, I want to give a big shout out to all of my super chatters, because thank you. It's like to my channel members. I totally appreciate you guys. So I have to say thank you to you. You know what I'm saying? So now that we've done that, let's start with the broadcast, shall we? Let's see who we got over here. Great. We got some people coming in, rolling in. Good. Let's get it popping. Again, shout out to my super chatters. Thank you so much for support the channel so I can continue to entertain you. Now, let's get it.
In January 2015, a group of New Zealand film students were recording outside their school at Auckland's Paranormal railway station. The footage you're seeing now was recorded by a student named Chris Muir. For a few minutes, Chris and his friends were messing around and having fun as they filmed. But that's when the group spotted a man and a woman wearing creepy white masks hiding in the tall grass next to the station and staring ominously at the camera.
Do you see what happens when you don't have a father figure in a home? It's despicable.
As it was later revealed, Chris and his buddies first thought that the masked people were probably pranksters from the school trying to creep them out, which is why they can be heard laughing throughout the footage. However, the students later confessed that it was more so nervous laughter and that they were actually pretty terrified during the encounter. Disturbingly, looking at the footage, they noticed that the couple appeared to be armed. In some of the clips, it looks like one of them is holding a pistol.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one? I don't see him.
As soon as the suspects got a little too close for comfort, the group ran back to the main road, after which they reportedly saw a police chopper approaching the area of the incident. It's not entirely clear who called the cops that day, but based on my research, this wasn't the first time the couple had harassed the public with their creepy masks and weapons.
That's a bottle, not
Earlier
a
that
gun.
week, they had terrorized a woman at Auckland's Domain Park, but left before the police were able to arrest them. When the cops arrived at the train station, Chris and his friends gave them the report, after which the Auckland Police Department uploaded a Facebook post where they urged the suspects to come forward and warned civilians to stay far away from the masked couple if they saw them. They also cautioned that if they saw someone carrying what appeared to be a weapon, they had no way of knowing if the weapon was real or fake and would be forced to approach the situation as if it were real. Shortly after that, the suspects reportedly came forward to talk to the cops. Throughout the investigation, the authorities didn't release a whole lot of information to the public about who these people were, whether their weapons were real, or what their intentions were. But one thing we know for sure is that this wasn't just an innocent prank. In fact, when a lot of people online started accusing the students of staging a prank just to get attention, a spokesperson from the school came forward to clarify that the masked suspects had nothing to do with the institute. According to an article from Vice, a police spokesperson later confirmed that the weapons were fake. But
Yeah, that looks like a bottle. I think you just are nervous. Stop being such a, a scaredy cat, bro.
wasn't able to find any official confirmation of this, and to this day, not a lot of people know who the suspects were or why they were terrorizing the public for no reason. Whatever the case, it's a good thing Chris and his friends were able to get away before things took a turn for the worse. Near the base of Mount Fuji in Japan lies a forest that's known among the locals as the Sea of Trees. Interestingly, the entire forest grew out of a 30 square kilometer patch of hardened lava that was laid down by the last major eruption of Mount Fuji. A little more disturbingly though, over the years the Sea of Trees has become known as a place where people go to take their own lives. And if you venture far enough into the forest, it's not uncommon at all to find a body.
Look at that. Somebody wants to go caving down there, and somebody would. That's the video I want to see. What happened to him or her, or that group of idiots who decided, let's go in the cave. It's exhilarating.
Near the entrance of the forest, a sign written in Japanese reads, "Quietly think once more about your parents, siblings, and children. Please don't suffer alone, and first reach out." In July 2017, urban explorer and YouTuber Burbex ventured into the forest to see what he'd find, walking his viewers through his entire journey into the sea of trees. But even though the video starts out tame enough, just a few minutes into his exploration, the uploader comes across an abandoned bike, and that's when things get a little disturbing.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it's been here a long time. What do we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. I think I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says 1211.
Dear person who finds this, I'm gonna murder you. See you soon.
I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here. And I'm not sure what this means.
On top of the bike, Burbex finds an empty piece of packaging for a kitchen knife, and a few minutes later, he comes across a note written on a plastic bag. The note translates to 1211 verified, Fuji Yoshida Police Station verified, meaning it's likely evidence of someone who abandoned their stuff to take their own life in the forest, confirmed by the local police station. It's incredibly haunting to think how many lives have been lost in that forest over the years, and even more disturbing to think that any random passerby could easily find the body while exploring the terrain. Over the years, the Japanese government has implemented several measures, such as placing security cameras near the entrance to track those who walk inside, as well as training volunteers to talk to the visitors who are thinking of taking their lives. Still, this hasn't stopped people from following through with it, and the fact that the media has really played a big part in sensationalizing the forest in recent years hasn't helped either. In early 2023, a man named David Meredith was taking his usual evening stroll through his neighborhood in Red Deer, Canada, when he suddenly saw a bull moose eating next to a tree. Hoping to catch a better glimpse, he hid behind the tree to watch. And that's when the moose turned around and started charging at him. To understand how incredibly dangerous this is, keep in mind that an adult male moose can run faster than 35 miles per hour, which is almost twice as fast as the max speed for the average human male. Even though moose aren't generally aggressive, they can easily trample and kill a human if they feel threatened, which is probably what happened here. Fearing for his life, David hoisted himself up the tree next to him to avoid getting stabbed by the moose's antlers.
He just ran me up a tree.
Nah, he waiting for you. He say, yep, you gonna come down soon. And when you do, I'ma jab your bitch ass. Look at him getting ready. See this branch? I'm gonna do this right to you.
As soon as he was out of the moose's reach, he started recording. For about 30 seconds, the moose just stares at David, and you can hear the uploader's nervous breathing as he waits for the moose to leave. But shortly after, the moose starts charging back and forth with its head down, which is a clear sign that it's stressed and would probably trample David if he were to come down or fall from the tree. Based on what he mentioned to the news station that interviewed him a couple of days later, David stayed in the tree for over 10 minutes waiting for the moose to leave him alone. When asked how he climbed up the tree, he demonstrated how he pulled himself up by a flimsy-looking branch, which is honestly one of the most concerning parts of this whole situation. That branch breaks, and David would have been at the mercy of a very angry moose and might not have lived to tell the tale. Luckily, after seeing that David wasn't coming down, the moose finally gave up and ran off, thanks to which the uploader was able to come down safely after waiting it out for around an extra half hour.
That's one of the good things about the black people stereotypes. Nobody expects you to be in tune with nature as a black guy. So, shout out to racism.
In February 2018, a man named Greg Harris uploaded a GoPro video of himself riding his ATV on an unnamed trail. For the first few seconds, the footage shows pretty much exactly what you'd expect from this kind of upload. But in the blink of an eye, something extremely disturbing interrupts Greg's ATV ride.
What was it? Somebody throw dirt on him? What happened?
If you didn't catch it, someone had set up a metal wire between the two trees, which got caught in the uploader's helmet and forced him to stop. It's pretty disturbing to think that if Greg hadn't been so lucky, he could have been decapitated by the wire. Fortunately, as mentioned in the video description, his speed, along with the wire hitting his helmet instead of his neck, caused it to break as he passed through it. It might seem shocking that anyone would even think of doing something as incredibly evil as setting up a lethal booby trap in the middle of an ATV trail, but sadly, it's actually pretty common in the dirt bike and ATV community. Sometimes these wires are set up by people trying to keep bikers off their property. Others are set up by psychos who get irritated by the noise and decide to use violence to fix the issue. And the rest are set up by people who are just messed up in the head and want to bring harm to others for no reason. In this case, it's impossible to tell who was responsible for setting up the trap. This is just one of those videos where if the wire was set up just slightly lower, the accident could have easily been fatal. Luckily, he was able to walk away with minimal injuries, and he used his video as a way to warn others to watch out for these kinds of traps, especially when riding through trees.
Now, is that going to stop anybody from going ATVing? Is that what it's called? Dirt bike riding? Dirt bike riding? Probably not, because who are you? Americans. We don't care about the rules. That's our problem sometimes.
Back in the summer of 2014, a man named Chris was biking in the mountains near Fernie, British Columbia, when he suddenly noticed what appeared to be an animal approaching him in the tall grass. Immediately, he realized it was a mountain lion, and that's when he started recording.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mountain lion. He's crouching in the grass. He's actually coming towards me.
At first, it's kind of hard to see where exactly the animal is, but as Chris walks towards the trail, you can see it emerging from the grass coming closer.
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking right at it.
That is a mountain lion,
Yep.
and he's stalking me.
Where's your bong bong? He won't stop no more.
Even though mountain lion sightings are rare, they have been known to attack people in certain situations. And let's just say, if you see one stalking you in the tall grass, slowly approaching as it stares you down, you can be pretty certain that you're in danger. About 2 minutes into the footage, the lion starts walking a little faster, and Chris does the one thing you never do with a mountain lion by turning his back and starting to run.
Pull out the heat. You went mountain biking with no heat. Gone. You can't run faster than this thing.
Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion.
He like,
How
hey,
are you
lunch.
doing?
Just waiting for lunch.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to see you.
You said that.
I am much bigger than you.
Bro, what are you talking about though? Huh?
Over the next couple of
Fight.
minutes, Chris tries to get the animal to go away, but it only walks around him and continues to stalk him, staring him down in the tall grass near the entrance to the woods. A couple of minutes later, the uploader manages to take a few steps toward the main trail back to his car, but he doesn't get too far before the mountain lion cuts him off again.
Stay back. Stay there.
Boy.
I'm not afraid of you.
Yes, you are.
Fortunately, after a few moments of tension, the mountain lion turns around and disappears into the trees. Being in a position like that has to be downright terrifying, especially when you consider that the only reason the lion didn't attack was because it didn't want to. And had it felt more threatened, it easily could have done some serious damage. Thankfully, it was just a close call and Chris was able to walk away from the terrifying encounter unharmed.
Thankfully, it wasn't hungry, cause you was finna be lunch.
In March 2019, a 5-year-old girl from Fairlawn, New Jersey was playing with her friends near a creek in a wooded area behind their home right off Route 208. This was an area the family knew very well, as they'd been living there for 13 years, and the girl's father, Dave Kuroda, and his wife felt completely safe letting their kid play in the woods behind their house. But at some point during that particular afternoon, the girl came across a pile of clothing in the woods, after which she immediately ran back to tell her dad what she had found. Strangely, the clothes appeared to have been cut off a person's body, and there were suspicious red stains all over the tattered, shredded outfit. After confirming the bundle consisted only of women's clothing, Dave called the Bergen County Sheriff's Office and reported the incident, feeling like it was just too out of the ordinary for a random pile of cut-up clothes to appear near the entrance of the woods so close to his home. Even though this was the first time their daughter saw the clothes, it appeared they had been in the woods for several months, which explains some of the excessive wear and tear, but not the suspicious cuts and stains all over the outfit. Immediately, Fairlawn police started asking the public if they could identify the clothes, hoping that it was just a prank rather than something more sinister. Unfortunately, nobody came forward, and until the clothes can be linked to some sort of crime or to a victim, they can't be accepted for testing by the police department. To this day, the cops from the Fairlawn Police Department haven't been able to match the clothing to anyone in particular. And at this point, all we can do is hope that whoever those clothes belonged to did not come to the harrowing fate that the dark reddish stains imply.
Yo, couldn't it just be like somebody's dirty laundry? Well, whatever. This is a great video by Chilling Scares, 6 most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera. Now, before we get into the next creepy video, I want to give a shout out to my super chatters. These are the people who super chatted on the last video, and that was pretty cool of them to do that. If you'd like to super chat, well, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. So we'll let that stay up there for a second, and now we'll get into this video with what is this guy? Detective Myers Stories. This guy? Yeah, we'll see what he's talking about.
This is breaking news.
My little girl better return her now. This is ridiculous.
Hold on. Let's look at that guy's face again.
This is breaking news.
My little girl better return her now.
That's the I did it face. Why is it always the dude who's like, I haven't seen my daughter? Who took my wife? Who kidnapped my son? It always be you. I hope that that's not what it is.
This is ridiculous.
Whoever has her, just bring her home safe. She's ours, not yours.
And we have breaking news tonight. The parents of a missing toddler are pleading for answers and for their daughter's safe return. Police from all over are searching the area, saying they will not go home until they find 14-month-old Shaylin.
14-month-old?
That morning, today, and went to go see if Shaylin was there, and she was gone. They have no idea where. I'm thinking somebody that has a big grudge over my family. I don't know what kind of grudge would have against my family. I mean, my family is the most peaceful people in the world.
Police officers, along with dogs, are out searching right now for a 15-month-old girl who has been missing from her father's home in Spencer. The grandmother of Shaylin Ammerman says she put the little girl to bed on Tuesday night, and the girl was gone by Wednesday morning.
We're moms, we're dads, and this type of case is something that's incredibly important to us, that we find this little girl.
It's going to speak plain and clearly. Whoever did this needs to burn in hell. There's no need for something like this to happen.
In the quiet town of Spencer, Indiana, a little girl was born with blue eyes and blonde hair.
Man, she looks like a reborn doll.
She loved to dance whenever music played on TV. Everyone called her the happiest baby in the world, and her laughter filled the home with joy. No one could have imagined that an ordinary night in March of 2016 would turn into a nightmare. This tragedy shocked not just this small town of 2,300 people, but the entire country. Shaylin Ammerman's story is not just about a terrible crime. It shows how the dark sides of human nature can emerge even in the most peaceful places, and how the justice system can fail when faced with unbearable truth. Friends, before I continue this difficult story, I'd like to ask you to write in the comments which country you're watching from. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends.
Is that why you guys all the time be saying where you're checking them from? Because that's new. People didn't. I've been on YouTube for a while, and people are now, but it didn't used to do that. But hey, if you want to tell me where you're from, okay.
This story needs to be heard, so similar tragedies don't happen again, and so Shaylin's memory lives on in our hearts. On December 31st, 2014, in Bloomington, Indiana, Jessica Stewart and Justin Ammerman became parents to a beautiful baby girl, Shaylin Ammerman. She was Justin's first child, but she already had two older brothers, Gage and Blaze, from her mom's previous relationships. From day one, she became the joy and pride of her family, especially for her father and grandmother. Shaylin was a happy, vibrant child. Her uncle said she had the most adorable smile on earth. She was always laughing and giggling, loved to play patty cake and peekaboo. But more than anything, Shaylin loved to dance. Her grandma remembered, when even the slightest tune of music comes on, she starts dancing. Her mom agreed, she's a happy baby. Anytime any kind of music comes on the TV, she's bobbing her head, stomping around, dancing. At 14 months old, Shaylin was just learning to walk and still unsteady on her little feet. Her great-grandmother said she could take a few steps, but would teeter and then fall to the floor. She could hardly walk steadily without falling down.
Okay, this kind of stuff to me is boring, but my wife falls asleep to stuff like this. It used to drive me crazy, man, because I don't like these kinds of stories. I would never hang out with a guy that does stuff like this. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. The guys I hang out, we bully guys like that. You know, you look like you one of them dudes, and we will bully you. You gotta prove to us you're not one of them types of dudes. I mean, I don't want to. I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know what I mean. Oh God, these types of guys, they make all guys look terrible.
Justin and Jessica broke up soon after Shaylin was born, and they shared custody of their baby. She spent half her time with her mom, Jessica, and the other half with her dad, Justin. He lived with his mother, brother, and stepfather in a small white house in Spencer, Indiana. Spencer is a tiny town. Only about 2,300 people lived there in 2016. The house sat on a quiet lot on West Jefferson Street, near Riverside Cemetery and the Assembly of...
See, this is ChatGPT. I don't know if ChatGPT wrote the script, but this is definitely AI talking. First, he said live dawn. A human wouldn't have read that, and he had another mistake in his in the audio. This is an AI reading this back. This is one of the things that makes this story boring. The case itself is probably interesting. You know what I mean? But as a content creator, you can tell when you hear ChatGPT, stark reminder, heralding, and all of this different stuff. I'm not saying this is a bad video. I want him to get into further the story. Let's go, man.
Of God Church. Tamara Morgan, Justin's mom, grew up in Spencer and always thought it was safe.
Like, we don't need to know where she grew up. We don't need this long of a picture of her. I mean, oh boy. Content creation is not as easy as content creators make it. I would have went through, man, I'd have showed a younger picture of her, not a current picture.
Safe. I've lived in Spencer all my life, and we don't lock doors here, she said. When Shaylin stayed with her dad, Tamara was her main caretaker. Tamara adored her first granddaughter and said she was the easiest and happiest baby to take care of. Tamara had a full house. Besides Justin and Shaylin, her husband Danny Morgan, and one of her other grown sons, Adam Emmerman, shared her home. Another woman named Kelly Rogers was also staying with the family. With all the bedrooms being full, Shaylin's crib was set up in the living room with her toys and clothes stored nearby. This made it easy for Justin and Tamara to take care of the baby, but it also meant everyone in the house could easily access her. Adam sometimes had friends visit the home. One friend, Kyle Parker, had visited.
Can you guys tell this is an AI voice? You can tell, right?
Visited at least a dozen times, according to Tamara. She thought Kyle seemed like a nice guy and trusted him. He talked so kindly, and he played with Shaylin, she recalled.
I think AI wrote this script. That's what I'm saying, man. This is one of the creepy things that we'll get into right quick for you people who are talking too much. This whole internet technology, all of this stuff has been made for you younger guys. Why are you so upset at us older dudes because we learned how to use it? Why don't you know how to use it as good or better than I do? Why are you not making content? Why are you so salty? LeBron James fan? What's wrong with y'all? But one of the drawbacks to AI is you could tell AI writes the whole story. Like this is a terrible essay. This is a video essay, but it's terrible the way that AI Chat GPT will put it together. It'll like drone on and on. It's like, okay, come on, let's, but this video has like 135,000 views on it. So this is like really, really good for the creator. I don't know. Maybe it's my ADHD. That's what it is. It's my short attention span, my ADHD. Now it's cool to have ADHD, but when we was young, Generation X, you was a problem. You went to special ed for having ADHD.
At least once, when the baby woke up fussy, Tamara watched Kyle rock her back to sleep. Kyle had been living with Tina Wagner and her husband in Gosport, an even smaller town, about 10 miles from Spencer. He had moved out, but still did odd jobs for the couple. They hired him to paint their garage, and he hadn't finished yet. From how often Kyle visited Adam, Tamara thought he was her son's friend. However, Adam described him more as an acquaintance or a friend of a friend. On March 23, 2016, the night air was unusual.
6 minutes. 6 minutes, doggy fresh and on. You could have just, from the time when all of that fluff that didn't even need to be in there. And that's what Chat GPT will do. It'll put a bunch of just we don't even need all of that. This is where you could have started at.
Usually still, almost as if the world was holding its breath. Adam was still slightly hungover from drinking the night before, but decided to invite Kyle over to watch TV and drink whiskey. Since the baby was in the living room, they...
Alright guys, we gotta do something else. Alright, I'm boring me. 4 true scary camping stories. Nah, we don't want to hear no dang on stories. See, track meets stabbing, father of Austin Metcalf. Stabbing? Y'all want to do some stabbings? Let's do some stabbings. Let's see what's up with that.
The 17-year-old accused of fatally stabbing a Texas student athlete during a track meet allegedly admitted to the crime. Now, he also asked officers if
his name is not Carmelo Anthony. Well, I can't really make fun because I knew a guy named Anthony Hardaway. That was his real name. Hey, he was a thug.
actions could be considered self-defense. That is according to a newly released arrest report. On Wednesday morning, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, a junior at Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas, was killed at a track meet. Police said a student from Centennial High School in Frisco, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, stabbed Metcalf in the chest during a fight. Anthony was arrested, now charged with first-degree murder, and is being held in the Collin County Jail on a $1 million bond. Our Fox 4 Dallas team has been covering all of...
You're not getting out. $1 million. Why did you stab the dude in the chest? See, you YNs, you can't fight. And the white boy was whooping on him. You probably thought, I'm just adding stuff to the story, I don't know. But probably you're black. And if you get beat in a fight as a black guy by a white dude, I know Generation X, it was like, you know, something to talk about. If you get beat in a fight as a man at all, it's something to talk. Like sometimes you had to like switch schools. You got to switch your whole district. I don't know if it's like that anymore. But I think this YN couldn't fight. He thought that the white dude would be scared because he white. And these white dudes today is different. This is a different breed. They just different. They're not the same. In Gen X white dudes, it was like a handful of them dudes. It was a handful. It was a lot of Vanilla Ices. It was a handful of M&Ms, like real white dudes. They didn't act like they was black at all, but they totally got everything hip. You know what I'm saying? They totally got it. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, these YNs be punks anyway. So you stabbed this dude because he was whooping on you? That's what I think happened. But let's hear.
The information here, Alex Boyer has the latest.
In that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. It also revealed that the suspect reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer that he stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
That dude was extremely smart, always in the box. He just came to him real easy, and just him playing football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was it's just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco...
But why did you run, though? I'm saying, you so tough. What'd you run for? Because these YNs, they're not tough. They're mad soft. Just probably because their fathers weren't there. Your father would have told you not to be where you're not supposed to be at. But your mother, because she's entitled, nobody told her that.
Police officer Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying he put his hands on me. I told him not to, adding that I was protecting myself. And
absolutely, he got that from his mother. His dad would have said, bro, let's just keep going.
Then asked the police officer, is he going to be okay? Metcalf died in his brother's arms.
I'm not at that point to forgive and forget, but eventually I will. But I pray for his family. I pray that they understand what we're going through as well.
This whole community has really wrapped their arms around.
This is in Oklahoma? I'm in Oklahoma. I don't know why that's showing me all of this stuff from out here. I don't be looking for it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the Oklahoma wavelength. And that's why they send me all this Oklahoma stuff.
And if I could say anything to the nation, I would say to make sure that you just hug your babies tight. Because you don't know when the last time you get to do it.
In a statement released by the Metcalf family this afternoon, they say their focus is now on laying Austin to rest. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Anthony remains in the Collin County Jail on a $1 million bond. Alex Boyer, Fox 4 News.
Alex, thank you so much. Now, our Fox 4 Dallas team, as I mentioned, has been covering all of this from the get-go. They had a one-on-one conversation with Austin's father.
Well, it started with a call from his football coach who was not at the track meet and said...
All right, let's see what else some other people got to say. This guy's name is Dr. Todd Grand. Let's see what he got to say about it.
This is Dr. Grande. Today I'll analyze the case of Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Austin Metcalf lived in Frisco, Texas. This town of 200,000 is just north of Dallas.
Wait a minute. I don't know if all of this is entertaining enough. He got a sleepy voice. YouTuber facing 5 years in prison for disturbing... Oh, I actually watched this guy a whole lot. So let's see what A to Z say. A Tozy?
This YouTuber has just been arrested and is facing 5 years in prison after disturbing a restricted island and violating international law. All to film content and leave this ancient remote tribe a can of Coke. Ladies and gentlemen, we might have a new contender for the Hall of Fame of complete morons.
An American... First it was your guy, Johnny Somali. Then it was this other guy in the Philippines. I'm trying to tell you, man. These guys, they don't have any talent. You think this is easy, just getting up here and just talking off the top of your head? You know why these dudes be telling me don't talk? They're reminded how stupid they are. In this creepy talk genre, a lot of people are fake deep. Did I wake you up?
I'm not fake deep.
Did I wake you up?
No, I just want a bubble.
You just want a kiss? Okay. All right. I love you too. Are you going back to bed?
Yeah, I guess so. Did you put this food up here on the counter? Oh my god, I sound like such a mom.
What food on the counter?
Did you leave that leftovers out on the tabletop?
I didn't leave any food on the counter.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
All right, love you too. Sorry about that. That was probably the most entertaining part of this video, but that's because all the content I picked to watch sucks. I'm awesome. The content sucks. Anyway, this guy, Atozy, I like him. He doesn't suck. That's why he's got 1.8 million subs. But that's what I'm saying. Content creators, your favorite creepy talker, he or she, they probably don't got a lot of talent outside of YouTube or TikTok videos. And I'm not mad at them because of that. I'm just saying it is what it is. That's why these dudes come here and say, yo, you talk too much, because they're reminded how fake deep they are. You're not really that intelligent. But understand, that's what you had to be in Generation X. You don't got to be intelligent now. You just heard these last couple of clips we watched. An android wrote the whole video essay for you. Then you had an android voice speaking it for you. Soon they're going to have Android apps that put the whole video together for you. You don't got to do nothing but just write a prompt. Holy crap. They actually have that. I was using it, but it was so brain dead, I stopped using it. You can put the script for your YouTube video in this generator, and it'll come up with pictures and all that. Insane how sucky the pictures were. Let's get back to this.
A tourist has been arrested for allegedly traveling to a restricted reserve on a remote island and leaving behind a can of Coke as an offering for the world's most isolated tribe to try. Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov was arrested in India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands after he allegedly visited a prohibited tribal reserve on North Sentinel Island without authorization.
So apparently we're doing this for content now. Well, that's a nightmare of an island that has for some reason attracted the wildest form of unwanted tourism, now including Mikhailo Polyakov, a 24-year-old American YouTuber known for thrill-seeking adventure vlogs and now for violating international law. He goes by the Neo-Orientalist on YouTube and has a few thousand subscribers, and is currently making headlines for illegally landing on the North Sentinel Island, home to the famously uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. You know, the people who've made it extremely clear that they want nothing to do with the outside world. Like, arrow to the head, level of clear.
Tucked away in the picturesque waters of the Bay of Bengal exists a tiny island that has captured imaginations for centuries. But its beauty as a tropical paradise is not what has garnered attention. Rather, it is the often violent, uncontacted tribe that calls the island home.
This is content creation. This is adding value to the content. This is like 11 minutes, 50 seconds. He took a bunch of little TikTok clips and he's like, he's being like a reporter. This is dope, and for you creepy talk audience members, because it's not your favorite creepy talker, it's you as the audience member. You feel some kind of way. You don't know this person that you like. You feel some kind of way. So this is to you, not to them. I respect them because they have the courage to get out here and do it. Use a poser. That's a Gen X word. Shout out to us. Use a wannabe. That's a Gen X word. Shout out to us. You don't have what it takes to even do all of this type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you want to like throw rocks and hide your hand. Very LeBron James-ish. We're not mad at that. We're just saying, well, I'm saying, and I don't mean it like this, I'm saying it. This is my competition, not your favorite. Bro, please. This is great content right here. People like this, but he's not my competition because none of you dudes are my competition. I love his stuff. That's what we did back in my day. We didn't hate, we congratulate. See? So Michael Jordan wasn't jealous of Charles Barkley and none of them. He liked tough competition. Steel sharpens steel, bitch nigga. The steel would cut you wood niggas. Uh-oh. They're not gonna probably, but whatever. You guys get my point. My Gen Xers, that's my audience. And some of you Gen Zers and Gen Yers who get it. My audience, Gen X. That's where we at. I mean, didn't you say I'm pushing 60? Why would you? When I was 20, I didn't even know anybody 60 years old. Nor was I even hanging around them. Are you smoking? All right, let's get back to this.
Home. For most, this island is a window into the past and an opportunity to understand how ancient people lived. But for some, this island has become their final resting place.
Well, what did Polyakov actually do? He showed up to Point Blair, the capital of the Andaman of the Nicobar Islands, with the camera, an inflatable boat, and apparently zero regard for history or laws. On March 29th, he set off solo on his boat, which, by the way, I guess is the YouTube version of Hold My Beer. After a 9-hour journey, he reached the northeastern shore of the North Sentinel Island, ready to go full Columbus, but instead of smallpox and holy crosses, he brought a Diet Coke and a coconut, not even a full meal. Just a weird snack combo and a whistle. Come on, dude. And with this whistle, he tried to get the tribe's attention. And obviously blowing a whistle at an uncontacted tribe, I guess that's how you get a collaboration invite.
Polyakov spent roughly an hour blowing a whistle from his inflatable boat in hopes of drawing attention to himself, but received no response. He landed on the island for roughly 5 minutes, during which he collected samples, recorded a video, and left behind a can of soda and a coconut as offerings for the Sentinelese tribe.
I feel like the ingredients of a Diet Coke would probably burn a hole in the tribe's stomach, man. Like, let's chill here. Let's not leave that for them. But thankfully, he didn't make contact. For his own sake, but also he did collect some sand, film on the beach, and then I guess peaced out like it was some regular beach day. Mission Trespass on Sacred Land is complete, but here's the plot twist. Back on the mainland, some local fishermen saw what he was up to and reported him. Polyakov was arrested on March 31st, now faces multiple charges, including violation under India's Foreigners Act and tribal protection laws. If convicted, he's looking at up to 5 years in Indian prison, which is a pretty steep price for a simple vlog title. Why are some influencers committing crimes in countries where you would never ever want to go to prison at?
Because they're not influencers. They're not influencing anyone to do anything except be more stupid. You don't really have talent, millennial, Gen Zer. Somebody got to tell you. Some of y'all got talent. And those of you who have talent, we put y'all up on our shoulders and we carry you around like you the captain of the basketball team. Most of y'all don't have no talent. That's why you come over here and you don't like me. See, I got dad energy, not because I want to have it. I'm 50 years old, dummy. Comes with the territory. You have YN energy, like that other kid in the last clip that said, touch me and see what happens. You should have punched him in his face if he touched you, not stab him, you moron. I hope they lock you up for 100 years, stupid.
I mean, we just covered Vitali. Why would you ever break laws in countries that have prisons that look like this? But also, honestly, the amount of time sounds a little short for what he actually did. Because let's be real, what he did wasn't brave. This is just incredibly reckless. Indigenous groups, legal experts, and common sense all agree that you don't mess with the Sentinelese. Not because they're scary, well, they are as well, but because we are. We carry diseases that they've never been exposed to. Contact could wipe them out, like it did so many other tribes throughout history. But you know, for the sake of this video, let's put all the dangers to the tribe aside. Let's put all the international law to the side. Let's just say, this is an extremely stupid move considering how multiple journalists, missionaries, and many more have died for attempting to do this exact thing. So for those who don't know, let me break down what this island is and why this tribe has a history of people needing to stay far away from it. All right, picture this, a beautiful tropical island straight out of a travel brochure, white sand, blue water, lush jungle, and if you step foot on it, you might get hit with an arrow.
Hey, you're that IRL streamer, aren't you? I used to do content like you until I took a 2.5 meter long arrow to the knee.
This is exactly where all those Skyrim guards went. So, welcome to North Sentinel Island, where the local vibe is no visitors ever. It's home to the Sentinelese, possibly the last uncontacted tribe on Earth, and when I say uncontacted, I mean they've been ghosting humanity for thousands of years. These people are the real-life version of hardcore Minecraft. They're like that tribal YouTube channel that went like super viral for building crazy stuff with mud, but minus the excavators, because, you know, they were also exposed for that. So while neighboring islands have been colonized, developed, and turned into places where you can probably get Wi-Fi and an overpriced smoothie, North Sentinel Island have stayed essentially stuck in time, on purpose. They basically told the rest of the world that they don't want any technology. No thank you. The first time they were caught on camera, you could literally see them try to put arrows through the people filming.
At last, the first glimpse of the Sentinelese. This tribe believes in total isolation. It will not tolerate a stranger.
As is obvious in the footage, the tribe had no interest in making friends, and rather buried half of the gifts they'd been given before shooting arrows toward the film crew.
A member of our film unit was wounded by one of the many arrows, each 2.5 meters long.
So either Mikhailo saw this, did his research beforehand and said, screw it, a 2.5 meter arrow, that ain't that bad. Or he didn't prepare for this trip at all. But I have a feeling he kind of did, because he showed up with a coconut. And we will learn later on that the only contact that humans have had that has been a positive contact with this island has been because they were bribing them with coconuts. But
okay, what is this thing? It's a little bit of race baiting. What is this black people and coconuts thing? I mean, it's probably not that. It's probably not. But let's take an intermission right fast just to give a shout out to my super chatters. These are the people who super chatted from the last live stream I did. The first Insomniac live stream I did, Insomnia live stream. So I just want to shout out those people because I appreciate that. And YouTube said, yo, you should shout these people out because they like to be shouted out. So like I wouldn't even have known to do that until they gave me that notification. Okay, now that we did that, let's get back to it right quick.
But if it was up to me, one simple Google search would that would make my mind up. I wouldn't go. Took me 15 seconds to realize I would never want to go to that island. But I've also realized that there's a very big difference in how normal people operate and think compared to the people that I normally cover here on this channel. There's a very big difference. Well, the first real sighting of this island came in 1771 when a British ship spotted flickers of fire on shore, probably cooking dinner or prepping the arrows. Hard to say. But things got real in the 1890s when an escaped prisoner washed up on the island. Search parties went to look for him and they found him full of arrows. Definitely not a warm welcome. That's more like get off my lawn, but in a really intense way. Fast forward to the 1960s, Indian anthropologists decided to go play National Geographic and roll up with boats full of gifts, coconuts, metal tools, plastic stuff, basically just this weird early version of an Amazon delivery. First visit, nobody home. The tribe, I guess, just dipped into the jungle, left.
Okay, hold on, all right. The tribe, all of them, they're cool. Let me, what is this? Let's see something else. Something more. Well, you know, people might be. I might be interested in that. I don't know. 2 weeks. Disturbing Reddit. I don't know. That's too long. Ew, gross. I don't want to see that. Y'all probably want to see that. I don't even want to see that. Yuck. The bear. What? When scapegoating leads to torturing a girl to death. What is this?
Roughly 40 million adults struggle with claustrophobia in the United States alone. Having to live in such a small space would be hell for these people, but imagine being a 5-year-old girl and being forced by your mother to live every second of every day in a small, filthy broom closet, and you were never allowed out. You couldn't...
Okay. Mom killers? Let's do it. Let's figure out these mom killers.
Eat, play with your siblings, or even use the bathroom like a normal person. You're left spending every day in agony as you slowly wither away.
Oh my gosh. Little girl killer. Goodness.
Roughly 40 million adults struggle with claustrophobia in the United States alone. Having to live in such a small space would be hell for these people, but imagine being a 5-year-old girl and being forced by your mother to live every second of every day in a small, filthy broom closet, and you were never allowed out. You couldn't eat, play with your siblings, or even use the bathroom like a normal person. You're left spending every day in agony as you slowly wither away. This scenario is sickening to imagine, and it might sound to you like it's out of a fiction book, but for the little girl in today's story, this was her everyday life.
Yo, why do they always kill the cute kids? I mean, how many of us have seen ugly babies? Don't tell me babies aren't ugly. Stop the cap, man. Or just weird looking, deformed, and nothing is wrong with it. It don't got nothing. It's just weird looking. Why you don't never kill them? Always the good looking kids. You see how these ugly people do? Do you see? It's like they can see that you're going to get more attention. Like, there's probably a lot of you in the audience. A lot of you in the audience are people who was getting more attention than like your siblings. You was getting more attention even than like your mom. People was always walking, oh, he's so cute. Oh, she's so intelligent. And can you believe that makes adults hate on you to the point that they want to get you off of here? These are the LeBron James fans that people let turn into adults. It's sickening.
Kinsley Welty was born in Mooresville, Indiana on December 3, 2018 to parents Bradley Welty and Toni McClure. The couple married in 2017 but ultimately separated a few years later. Toni became the sole caregiver to their 3 biological children due to Bradley's alleged substance use issues. Toni went on to date a man named Ryan Smith. By the age of 5, Kinsley lived in Indianapolis with Toni, Ryan, her 2 biological brothers who were 4 and 6, as well as her...
Okay, it's hard to follow the story because Bradley is a guy's name, but Tony's a guy's name too. So you guys in the chat kind of help me to figure it out. I don't want to bring this back.
Infant half-brother who was born in March of 2023. Kinsley also had an 11-year-old half-brother from her mother's previous relationship who lived with his grandfather. Kinsley was blonde with bright blue eyes and round, chubby cheeks. She loved making people laugh and would often take her father's hat to be silly. She enjoyed getting her hair done, playing dress-up, and watching Paw Patrol and Bubble Guppies. She loved to sing the Taylor Swift song, You Need to Calm Down, to her grandparents.
On April 9th, 2024, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police arrived at...
You see that? I was just starting to get bored and be like, yo, why are you telling me like her hobbies? But a minute and 44 seconds in, now we're getting to the crime. The other video, it took him like almost 7 minutes before he started talking about the crime. He's telling us what they like to do, what they like to eat, when they took a shower. Yo, are you gonna...
at Toni's home after receiving a call regarding an unresponsive child. Law enforcement found medical personnel performing CPR on a frail-looking girl upon arrival. It was Kinsley. She was rushed to Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, where sadly she was pronounced dead. At the hospital, it was observed by both law enforcement and a DCFS representative that Kinsley was in a horrible state. She was extremely malnourished and her eyes had sunken in. At 5 years old, Kinsley weighed only 21 pounds at the time of her death, which is exactly what she weighed when she was 2.5 years old. Keep in mind that the average weight for a 5-year-old girl is about 40 pounds. Kinsley's hair had been cut short and was crawling with lice. What hair she had left was matted and caked in fecal matter, which also covered the bottoms of her feet. Her abdomen appeared to be ridden with unknown bites and sores. She also had bruising around her right eye socket and cheekbone. An autopsy would later confirm Kinsley's cause of death as malnourishment and neglect. Investigators wanted to know what happened, but as you'll soon find out, they were not getting any straight answers.
Tony initially told investigators that Kinsley had been staying with her father for the past 2.5 months, and that he'd been in and out of rehab and had not been in his children's lives for some time. She claimed that Bradley had been doing better with his alleged substance use problem, and that she had dropped Kinsley off at a local McDonald's in mid-February after he asked for their daughter to come stay with him. Tony said that she had spoken to Kinsley regularly during her stay with Bradley. She claimed that on April 9th, she picked her up at the same McDonald's after her ex requested that she retrieve her daughter due to a work obligation. According to Tony, she immediately noticed that her hair was cut. She told investigators she not only noticed bruising on Kinsley's face, but that she had lost a lot of weight. However, Tony could not provide an address or a viable phone number for Bradley, which raised suspicion. When they arrived home, Tony said that she carried her daughter inside and that Kinsley complained of leg pain and a headache. Allegedly, within 20 to 30 minutes of bringing Kinsley home, she had collapsed and massive amounts of liquid began spewing from her mouth. Tony told investigators that she called her boyfriend's mother to retrieve the kids and that she attempted to perform CPR in Kinsley before eventually calling 911. According to Tony, Kinsley suffered from a mild form of dwarfism and a floppy trachea, which occurs when the cartilage within the windpipe is fragile and soft. It can obstruct breathing and make it difficult to swallow. Tony told investigators that Kinsley had a feeding tube when she was born, but the tube was removed around the age of 2. She said that her daughter...
What does that have to do with her weighing 20 pounds less than she's supposed to weigh? What does that have to do with there being dookie on her feet? What? This is sometimes something I kind of hate about America. America, their first instinct isn't to look at white people like they did anything wrong. You give them the benefit of the doubt, especially police. They'll have the person dead to rights and they'll just question them and let them go. And then be like, oh, due process and all this nonsense. But when they don't feel like using that, they won't. Nor do they. There's a popular cutaway on Family Guy, I believe, not Family Guy, American Dad, where the guy was selling cars. He was like, white, use cars. You'll never get robbed by a white guy. And you absolutely will get robbed by any guy of any race. But in America, that's why people say you've got the complexion for the protection. So that would have been my question if I was an investigator. What does any of what you talking about have to do with her being dead? Explain that, bro. And you not leaving until you do. And if I had to let him go, I'd have been watching him. I'd have used all of the power at my disposal as law enforcement to stay on his ass.
Daughter's last medical evaluation was in December of 2022.
Investigators interviewed a number of Tony's other relatives at Riley Children's Hospital, including her mother, Tammy Halsey, her grandmother, who was referred to in court documents as JB, and her sister, who was referred to in court documents as LM. Tammy told the investigators that LM called her and said that Kinsley had fallen in the bathtub and drowned after Tony left her alone. JB told the investigators that Tammy had shared a similar story with her. Additionally, Tony had allegedly told her boyfriend that Kinsley had fluid in her airways, and LM instructed Tony to perform CPR. The following day, police paid a visit to the address listed on Bradley's driver's license. The current resident, who was Bradley's friend, told the police that he hadn't lived there for about a year, but was at the residence on April 9th. The friend shared that he often expressed remorse for being unable to see his children and stressed that he had not seen them in a very long time. On April 10th, the police executed a search warrant of Tony's home. The back bedroom had bunk beds belonging to Kinsley's 2 brothers, and investigators quickly noticed a large dresser pulled in front of a closet. When that dresser was moved, they immediately noticed a strong odor of urine and feces throughout the closet. The carpet was smeared with human excrement and littered with empty Ensure containers, a stale peanut butter sandwich, and a hot dog bun. The closet's walls and doors were covered in tiny handprints made with feces. Immediately following the search, investigators urged Tony, who was sleeping in her car, to speak with them again, to which she agreed.
Tony met with investigators and told them a very different story this time around. She reiterated that she was Kinsley's primary caregiver and that her mother Tammy helps sometimes. Tony said when her sister had taken Kinsley a few months ago that she had smeared feces all over the bathroom. Tony claimed that she did not know why anyone said that Kinsley had drowned. She went on to apologize for lying to investigators and stated that Bradley Welty had not seen Kinsley in over a year. Tony shared with the investigators that she was told by both her mother and her boyfriend that she needed to treat Kinsley better or that she was going to die. She admitted to hiding Kinsley from DCFS social workers during their visits and told the investigators that they had visited earlier in the day on April 9, 2024, due to her infant son testing positive for THC. Tony hid Kinsley under a blanket in another room during the visit and told the social workers that she was with her grandparents. DCFS did not find Kinsley that day, and Tony was afraid that if they saw Kinsley's condition, that all of her children would be taken away.
Yo, what? See what I'm saying? I don't get it. Why isn't CPS coming over there with the cops? You get chance after chance after chance. This is giving off Casey Anthony vibes. Just chance after chance. And she actually got off. I don't even think she went to jail. And now she's got like a Scooby-Doo detective agency to tell you how to get away with killing your kid? It's insane, man.
Tony explained that she and Kinsley never shared a bond. She claimed that Kinsley resented her because she was taken by DCFS when she was younger. Tony admitted to doing the bare fucking minimum for Kinsley and that she had fucked up real bad and knew she was going to jail. Tony stated that she was not good with the timelines, but she had begun to put Kinsley in the closet a few months back, around Thanksgiving of 2023. She said that Kinsley frequently shouted from the closet, claiming that being hungry and thirsty had become Kinsley's slogan. Tony admitted that the bruising on Kinsley's shin came from slapping her daughter after she had bitten her. She said that Kinsley had told her she wanted to die shortly before she collapsed. Tony asserted that her trembling and complaining of leg pain and head pain was true. She believed that Kinsley had died from malnourishment and that she wanted her daughter out of her life. Tony stated that she wished Kinsley was never born. She admitted that she had failed her daughter and that she knew that everything she had done was wrong.
Tony's boyfriend, Ryan Smith, was also interviewed and told the investigators that on April 9th, he had picked up Tony's 6-year-old son from school and returned to his family shop. Shortly thereafter, Ryan received a call that Kinsley had died and that he needed to pick up the other children from their home. Ryan and his mother retrieved the kids as emergency services were coming. He brought them to his mother's home in Plainville, Indiana. According to a police statement, DCFS subsequently took the children into their custody. Ryan told investigators that he had begun a romantic relationship with Tony a year ago and had lived at the residence for 6 to 7 months. Said Kinsley hated him because he was not her real father. Ryan explained that his parents had not seen Kinsley since December of 2023, but Tony's mother, Tammy, frequently watched Kinsley on the weekends because she was not allowed to go away with them on family outings. According to Ryan, Kinsley was not allowed around his family because his father was allegedly inappropriate with her. Ryan explained that Tony decided to put Kinsley in the closet around Thanksgiving of 2023 and that her condition had worsened, especially in the past 2 to 3 months. During this time, Ryan said he had only seen Kinsley outside the closet approximately 10 times, and usually just for 1 or 2 hours at a time. So to be clear here, this is a 5-year-old girl being kept in a dark closet for months and only being let out for an hour or 2 at a time, and we don't even know if she was being let out every day or not. Ryan claimed that he pled with Tony to treat Kinsley better, even threatening to call 911 on her at one point. Ryan said that he never sought medical attention for Kinsley himself because of his love for Tony. He said Tony was afraid that her other children would be taken away if he called the police, and he didn't want to be responsible for that if they were. He said he had never fed or interacted with Kinsley while she was in the closet, but that he had cleaned the closet about a month before her death. He noted that feces had piled up in the corner and claimed that he had told Kinsley to stop doing that so they could change her situation. Ryan did admit.
Wait a minute, Ryan, you suspect. You knew she was in the closet and you didn't call the authorities? Because you thought that the mom would get her other kids taken away? No, she needs to have her other kids taken away. That's some crazy stuff, man. When the boyfriend comes in and he got to be a father to this kid that the mother doesn't like, that's something that don't really get talked about a whole lot. Only when in extreme cases when the mom actually kills the kid. But there's some girls whose moms didn't like them, don't like them right now today. Mothers always was jealous of them. It's insane, man. It is really insane. Like, I believe that we aren't even all family. Like, our souls, like, your soul gets determined what family is going to be around. And when we were all in the soul realm, we may not have even been friends in the soul realm. Like, I heard somebody say, when you meet someone and you'd be like, man, I feel like I've known you for such a long time. I guess the creepy talk story is you and that person knew each other in the soul realm. You know, like my son was born, he was born still. So he essentially didn't have a soul, but the shell of him came out and it was fully formed and everything was perfect. It's fine with him. So, you know what I'm saying? So like sometimes the family members that you be with, y'all weren't even friends in a soul realm. That's the only way I can explain this guy not doing nothing. Well, he's a simp. He looked like he don't get girls. You know what I mean? He's got a light bulb shaped head. Don't nobody want him. And this girl, Tony, who's way more attractive than the girls that he can probably get on his own, definitely get on his own. And he want to keep getting her box. So he's just going to do whatever she says. But I mean, dude, have some backbone. A little something.
That he felt he had some blame for the situation. He emphasized.
You felt you had some blame for the situation. Bro, you got a lot of blame. You don't got most of the blame. Most of it is the girl. But as the man, you're the competent person on site. Always in all situations. Unless there's a more competent man on site than you. But clearly the mom is not that competent if she's hiding a kid in the closet and you trying to act like, well, I feel like I'm so... Should have threw the book at him. If he was any other race except white, they would have threw the book at him and her.
To the investigators that he believed that he should be held accountable for what happened to Kinsley, but not to the same extent as Tony.
The investigators also interviewed Ryan's mother, who was referred to in court documents as MS. She claimed that she had met Ryan at his work on April 9th and that they had went to his home to retrieve the children. MS witnessed Tony staring blankly in her bedroom and claimed that she did not see Kinsley. She went on to tell authorities that she had first met Kinsley in 2022 and that the family had lived with her for a time in 2023. MS speculated that the girl may have had schizophrenia or bipolar disorder because she would be okay one minute and completely shift the next. She told the investigators that Kinsley would break into the cabinets at night when she lived with her. MS claimed that after the family left her home in October of 2023, she rarely saw Kinsley. The last time was in early December of...
No. It sounds like you're trying to blame the kid. Now, if the kid was mentally challenged, all right, but that's on you that you putting her in the closet. Like, that... Nah, man, it's too much. Sounds like they're trying to blame the kid. Like they're trying to blame the kid. She's got this problem, that problem, that problem. And my other kids are normal. Somebody in the comments asked me to explain why is Asperger's a superpower? How do you think, Why do you think it's not? That's what I'm trying to say, man. Like, let me just keep going, man.
2023. She didn't look well. Her skin was discolored, she lost a lot of weight, and looked overall haggard. 6 months before her death, Ryan allegedly went to his mother to discuss the situation with Kinsley, asserting that things needed to change. He told MS that he dealt primarily with the boys and that Tony dealt with Kinsley, emphasizing that Tony resented her daughter. Ryan allegedly told his mother that he had nightmares about Kinsley dying. According to Ryan, Kinsley frequently told him that she didn't like them and that she would continue to act out until someone took her away. Whenever MS asked Ryan about Kinsley, he assured her that everything was moving in the right direction.
Kinsley's brothers were interviewed as well, and they highlighted how differently she was treated compared to them. Kinsley's 4-year-old brother, referred to in court documents as PW, appeared to struggle with attention, but stated that Kinsley stayed at the house and that this made her sad. PW detailed that his mother had smacked Kinsley on the butt because she was in timeout for escaping the cage, as he referred to it. He described that Ryan became angry at Kinsley and had hit her when she was in timeout in the cage. PW told investigators that Kinsley had escaped from what he called the wall and that she did not have anything to play with while on the wall. PW said it made him sad that his sister was in timeout all day. Kinsley's 6-year-old brother, referred to in court documents as BW, told investigators that he and all other children go to the corner.
Yo, I don't really like stuff like this, man. Like, my stepfather, that nigga used to beat me till I was bloody. Literally, till I was bloody. Come to find out, he was my mom. Okay, I'm an OPP baby. And my Gen Xers, y'all know what that is. My dad, well, we'll talk about my dad, my biological father, another time. But it was just me and my mother for the first 5 years of my life. When this guy came around, he's actually my brother and sister's biological father. He's my stepfather. He came around when I was 5 years old. He hated me. He used to tell my mother stuff like he needs to be disciplined. And my mother would let him discipline me. I remember like I used to have like very, very like unkempt hair. I remember he would put me in a chair and like hold me down in a chair while he goes, oh my gosh. That's one of the reasons I'm tender-headed now. I believe it was just mad. Just this guy used to just torture me. He used to just torture me. And you know, it's a blessing from God that I even made it out of that, because that guy could have for real, like killed me. For real. So like hearing this dude say that it made him sad that his sister was in timeout all day. This weirdo had like at 7 years old, he grounded me for a year. I remember like I was 5 or 6. He like grounded me for a year. And I don't even remember what I did. And my wife asked my mom when she met her, and they like kind of grew a relationship. She was like, was Adonis a bad kid? My mom was like, nah, he's a really good kid. He was polite, he was quiet. He was a good kid. Because my wife would ask me, why did your mom let that happen to you? Why did she, what were you being like Dennis the Menace? It just made me think back to that when this kid said he was sad that his 5-year-old sister was in timeout all day. You don't need to put her in timeout all day. At all, actually. Why don't you kind of like figure out what's going on with the kid? Now, maybe these people didn't have a lot of patience, and that's why they did that. That's not why this dude used to beat me till I was bloody. In fact, that's why I went to foster care. Because this guy beat me till I was bloody, and the teachers actually caught it one day. But that's that's another story. We're not going to get into that right now. Let's just get back to this. Let's get through this.
Corner when they get in trouble, but that Kinsley had a different corner than they did. Apparently it was near where the door was, and after the timeout, she had to go back into the closet. He told investigators that she slept on the ground and was forced to go to the bathroom in the closet. PW said that when the family got pizza, she was never allowed to have any because she was always bad.
Oh, man.
That for the past several months, she was constantly in the closet. He said that Kinsley would shout bad, stupid things at him from the closet. PW explained that sometimes she would escape from the closet and tap him, so he would tell his mother and she would be punished. He didn't explain exactly what those punishments were. PW told investigators that Kinsley had nothing to play with because she was bad and that she never left the closet. PW said the last time that he saw Kinsley was before he went to his grandparents, and he said that she looked terrible.
Tammy spoke to investigators again and said that she had believed that Kinsley had drowned in the bathtub until she saw on social media what Tony had confessed to. Tammy admitted to lying to the investigators in DCFS because she didn't want her daughter to lose custody of her kids. She stated that DCFS had been to her home 4 times looking for Kinsley because of multiple reports regarding her condition. Tammy never shared information regarding Kinsley or Tony's whereabouts with the social workers. Tammy claimed that Kinsley often misbehaved and was told to go in the corner by Tony. She'd seen Kinsley at a party at Tony's sister's home on April 7th, and Kinsley was told to go in the corner for the entire duration of the party. The following day, she saw Kinsley again because Tony and her family came to watch the lunar eclipse. Tammy stated that Tony put Kinsley in the corner again because she was in trouble. Tammy told investigators that she had only been over to Tony's house twice to watch Kinsley, once when Tony's youngest child was born, and then on Christmas of 2023. Tammy noticed Kinsley's condition deteriorate.
Hold on, you guys leave it in the comments. That's how much Jaquan says react to that chapter. My wife actually watches his channel too. I don't know all of these true crime channels by heart, but if you know them and you'd like to see me react to them, put them in there. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to react to this. This was an accident. I can't really handle this kind of stuff like this. It's too triggering for me, because but I'll try to look into these things. I'll discuss with maybe she can react to it. She likes true crime. I don't really not like this. This is but we're here, so let's just
over the past 5 to 6 months and urged her daughter to treat her child better. Tammy alleged that she first learned that Kinsley was being kept in a closet while on a video call with Tony. Tammy went on to admit that she would duct tape Kinsley to a bed to keep her from misbehaving. She told police that she believed she should be punished, but not as severely as Tony.
The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department put forth a statement on their Facebook account detailing the horrific circumstances found at Kinsley's residence. Chief Chris Bailey stated the following, I quote, "My heart breaks knowing what Kinsley went through in her short life and how she left this world. The circumstances of Kinsley's death are horrific and beyond comprehension. No human being, let alone a child, should be treated like she was. These alleged suspects, if convicted, should never step foot outside of a prison. I am so thankful for the officers, detectives, crime scene personnel, emergency room personnel, coroner's office officials, and deputy..."
You see how he's so careful with his wording? These alleged suspects? Bro, that's not the type of formalities that we as Americans throw on other people. You don't think this tan person allegedly did it. You're looking at him like he did it. Period. I've been seeing that since I've been old enough to comprehend the news. I say for like the last, 35 or 40 years. I don't know when I could comprehend the news, but when I could, they never had these platitudes for people who didn't have the complexion for the protection. You think that black people are just race baiting, but we're hearing a crime that was happening to a kid, and you're hearing this cop say these people are alleged. You see CPS going multiple times and knocking on the door politely looking for these people because we can't find the kid. What? Nah, man. there's something about white skin in the eyes of white Americans that just makes them feel like it's just that one person. You know what? It's probably not as bad as it seems. You know what? I'm jumping to conclusions. I don't want to say innocent until proven guilty. That's what we're going to say. This person is innocent until we prove that they're guilty. If you don't look like that, you're probably guilty. But let's go through the motions of seeing whether or not they're guilty. We know you're guilty, but whatever. You tell me why they're talking like this about these people. You tell me. Because they didn't know? It's a kid.
Prosecutors for their steadfast dedication to the innocent. What they see and hear every day, most of us could not endure. They are truly special people. I pray Kinsley has found eternal peace, and for her siblings who will need a lot of love and care in the coming days, months, and years. On April 15th, 2024, Tony McClure was charged with murder, criminal confinement resulting in serious bodily injury, and assault and battery of a person less than 14 years old. Ryan Smith was charged with 3 counts of neglect and criminal confinement resulting in serious bodily injury. Tammy Halsey received a 1-count preliminary charge with 1 count of neglect of a dependent resulting in death, according to court documents. Marion County prosecutors said that Tammy would receive official charges at a later date. As the investigation into Kinsley's case continued, a Facebook Messenger thread between Tammy and Tony was brought to light, further detailing the deplorable treatment and neglect Kinsley endured, as well as the great lengths that Tammy and Tony went to hide her condition. The long thread, dating back to 2022, referred to Kinsley by such terms as, and I'm quoting here, heifer, demon, dummy, dipshit, and evil. Along with a litany of insults were accounts of intentionally withholding food from Kinsley by locking up the cabinets and fridge because she attempted to access food and drink without permission. In one message from May of 2022, Tony said that Kinsley had escaped from the closet and Tammy told her to block the door with an object. Allegedly, when Tony claimed that she had already tried that, Tammy responded with, "You're going to have to keep her home one weekend just to show her you mean business." Tony went on to tell Tammy how Kinsley hates to be struck on the belly, and Tammy assured her that she was well aware. Another Facebook message from Tony to Tammy detailed how Kinsley had escaped by breaking the closet's lock and that she had put feces under the couch. Tammy instructed Tony to tie her ass up. In another exchange, Tony told Tammy that Kinsley had defecated in the closet where she was being held. The thread twice referenced duct taping of Kinsley to a bed to ensure that she would not get up at night. The messages also detailed Tony and Tammy's attempts to hide Kinsley from DCFS and the general public. In March of 2024, Tammy warned Tony that DCFS had shown up at her home again, to which Tony replied that they had better figure out a day that Kinsley could stay with Tammy so she could deal with it. In light of these findings, Tammy's charges have been expanded to include 5 more counts of neglect and 1 count of failure to report neglect. On April 28, 2024, Kinsley's family, as well as supporters, rallied outside of the Indiana State House. They called for reform of the state agency, claiming that the caseworker should have intervened. Family members emphasized that this situation should have never escalated to the point of death, citing a time where Kinsley and her siblings were removed from the home. Court records reveal that Tony pled guilty to neglect of a dependent in 2020, and that dependent was Kinsley. A case manager interviewed during this investigation allegedly told authorities there had been multiple DCFS reports made for instances of neglect involving both Kinsley and Tony. In fact, DCFS had reported to the home the very same day that Kinsley died. Kinsley's great aunt Carrie Hogan spoke with local news reporters at the rally, stating, "She will forever be 5 years old due to the abuse, starvation, and torture from those who were supposed to love and protect her at all costs. This was preventable, and the public deserves to know." Carrie started a GoFundMe to cover the cost of Kinsley's funeral expenses, including a princess headstone. The fundraiser collected $6,888 of its $5,000 goal. Now, to our knowledge, Kinsley was never diagnosed with any behavioral condition or anything regarding her mental health. We can't definitively say what...
Just because she wasn't diagnosed, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have it. advancements in medicine have been made to where I believe doctors can tell if your baby has that while it's still inside the mom. To my knowledge of what my wife was telling me, you know, like I said, I have a son or had a son, and he was born still. But yeah, we don't know just because just because she wasn't diagnosed. The parents weren't doing anything to see. They just wanted to get rid of her. Sounds like a real Casey Anthony case to me.
Kinsley was struggling with, if it was anything at all. But based on the accounts of other family members to investigators, if Kinsley needed help, they could have gotten her help. Instead, based on the information we currently know, it sounds like they not only gave up on her, they resigned her to starve to death instead of getting her help. Depending on what she needed, she could have seen a doctor or a professional and had a normal childhood, not condemned to die in a dark, filthy closet. Kinsley's story is an extreme example, but it reminds me of the children we don't hear about. And those are the children whose parents give up on them because they can't handle their behavior. They get fed up and frustrated with them, write them off as bad kids.
It's not an extreme case. It happens all the time. It just doesn't get reported. Like these 30-year-old women that sleep with these 15-year-old boys. That happens all the time. It just rarely gets reported. Like us as men, you know how many men are in domestic violence relationships where they can't say anything because you're going to get considered a bitch by men and society? The girl is smacking on you, and not that you're soft, you just weren't raised to hit a girl. There's a bunch of cases like that. One I can think of off my head where the guy had he had security cameras in his house, and it showed years of the wife being verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, just calling him all time, like mentally abusive to this guy. And he finally shot her. I think he shot her with like one bullet, because that's how they get you in court. The first bullet is self-defense. The second, third, if you go bang, 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 all those other bullets, that's where it turns into, now you're being malicious. He shot her one time, he got life. I think it's because of this double standard that they're telling us. It's an act. They're acting like they believe, oh, women can do whatever. But if you treat a woman like a guy, now it's different. Meanwhile, the woman can treat you like you're a guy. You know what I'm saying? She can throw a drink on you. She can slap you. She can attack you. All of that stuff. So there's a lot of guys, not most, but there is a percentage of guys that are getting abused by women. And you just have to like act like it didn't. You know what I'm saying? This is why I don't really like watching stuff like this. And this was an accident to even watch this, man. This is... I don't really like true crime. Don't even worry about it.
Tune them out and then let them into the world without any help or support for what they're struggling with. For children like these, if parents were willing to face reality head on, like adults, recognize what their child needed, their whole life could be changed for the better. If this sounds like you or a parent you know, please recognize that the only way a child with mental or behavioral issues can get help is if an adult agrees to get them resources. If this message can get through to at least one person, it'll be worth it for me to say it, because a parent is the sole arbiter of a child's future in circumstances like these. It may not be life or death like Kinsley's situation, but it impacts that child's entire future. I think back on parents I know with children who needed resources, and I sit and wonder exactly how they would have turned out if those parents refused to get them the help they needed. I ask you to reflect on the same. And if you are a parent who has a child that you know could benefit from seeing a doctor or a professional, I beg of you to do the right thing. As of the date of this recording in March of 2025, this case is still pending. A jury trial is set for September 15th, 2025. As of June of 2024, Ryan Smith was released on bail, and Tony McClure and Tammy Halsey were being held in the Marion County Jail. As with all pending cases, all of the accused are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
A private funeral service was held for Kinsley in the care of Meredith Clark Funeral Home in Morgantown. She was laid to rest at the East Hill Cemetery beneath a beautiful black heart-shaped headstone. It sits on a granite pedestal along with a black vase to hold fresh flowers. The stone is adorned with a picture of Kinsley in a red and black plaid dress, the same picture that was used in her obituary.
Man, that's too much. I don't think I'm going to do that again, man. I don't think I'm freestyling like that again. You know, that's going back to my days of hustling when I would freestyle. I'm not freestyling content creation. Not again. There's too much true crime floating in the Wi-Fi system that my wife be watching that I could just stumble upon. Nah. We not doing any of that. So I'm not saying I'm not gonna come back. I gotta go and regroup. You know. So here, let me throw this on here. Shout out to the people who super chatted me. I appreciated you guys. I can't remember all of you guys' names, but here they are. Shout out to you people. I appreciate it. And with that, Blunt Dog. I appreciate that. Now I gotta put Blunt Dog on this list. Let me give you a little heart and a little thumbs up. I appreciate that. I can't do this again, y'all. I can't. That's why I crack so much jokes. I'll start thinking about my past, and my past was turbulent. I mean, it's not more turbulent than this girl. It's not more turbulent than your life. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying it's tough for me. I don't like thinking about it. So that's why I just laugh about it. I mean, then nobody raped me or nothing like that. But, you know, it's other stuff that's fucked up besides that. Y'all know what I'm saying. All right, man. We out of here. Until next time.